Oh my god, I hear everything.
All right, put the mic up. See if you can hear yourself. All right, hell yeah.
Hell
We're getting
yeah.
started, yo.
Oh
We're
my
going to start
gosh.
just like that.
Okay, cool.
So if you want, introduce yourself and who you are.
Oh, so awkward. Okay, hi, my name is Mikela Goza. I'm just Mikela. I just turned 23 as of the 1st. Happy birthday to me. I'm an
Yes, ma'am.
Aquarius. I'm an identical twin.
Wait, the 23rd?
Hmm?
When was your birthday?
The 1st. I turned 23.
In February?
Yes.
Oh, yo, happy birthday, yo.
Thank
I didn't even know. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. I don't think I even told you. I low-key forgot.
No, yeah, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Just, yeah. Old as hell. Just kidding.
Old woman.
Yeah, I'm super old. Talking to the 26-year-old. No, yeah, I just turned 23. Same birthday as Harry Styles. Fun fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am a huge Harry Styles fan, so.
Wait,
that's
are you
amazing.
seriously?
Yeah, I love him. I knew that it was his birthday, and yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, so now you'll
That was
remember
a joke.
my.
I don't.
Oh my God, I was gonna say, wait, I just went to see Harry Styles, and that's another way to remember my birthday.
Yeah.
It's just Harry Styles' birthday. But yeah, I'm an identical twin. A little more about me. I'm 2 minutes older. I also have twin brothers. How cool is that?
I know. So, all right. So, Mikela actually works here as well. She works at the
Yes.
Temecula
Oh
location.
yeah, and I happen to work here.
So that's how I know her. And she's a killer. She's a killer in disguise. Everybody.
I have some secret things that I do. Well, it's not secret, but
Yeah.
I'm a jack of all trades, basically. I do
yeah.
everything.
And you've been working here for about, I think, like 2 months, 3 months now.
Dude, it's been since October. So
October. Oh wow.
October, November, December, January. Like 4.
Damn.
Yeah, about to be 4 months. It feels like I've been here for a minute though.
I know. It
God.
feels, but it's crazy. It's only been like 4 months.
Yeah, I always feel like. I mean, I got so close to like everybody, and I'm like, honestly, like we hit it off so well. I'm like, sometimes I forget you're my boss.
Yeah, I know. It's super
I'm
chill.
like, yo, what's up, Christian?
Yep, exactly. So you started around October. I think when I had an interview. Oh, so what happened was I interviewed you and like 5 other people.
Okay, yeah.
And we were trying to look for someone. And when he told me that you were a model and that you're like busy, so this is more of like kind of part-time whenever available.
I happen to be a model too.
Oh yeah, that's a big thing. She's a killer. She has some cool stuff that we can talk about later. But,
Okay, for sure.
when he told me that like you're looking for something that's kind of like almost on call because you were getting busy with like modeling and stuff.
Yeah, like bookings and stuff.
Yeah, so I actually wasn't gonna hire you. I was
Dang.
like, yeah, well, I didn't know. So like you gave off a great vibe. And I was like, all right, she's a killer.
Appreciate
like, she's
it.
nice, very
Killa
cool.
Kella.
Killa, but we needed someone that was more like reliable.
Right.
So I was like, damn, this sucks. So I ended up hiring Yanni, and then who is not working here anymore. He works across the street or across the way at Lids.
Yeah,
Yanni,
across the
awesome.
street.
I think he just got busy with work over there, so he just needed to go full time. I don't know. But basically, we were still working, and we're like, oh no, we still need someone. So we're like, yeah, let's go with Mikela. Like, let's try her out.
Yeah.
And then she was working like, I think not too much, like probably once or twice a week.
Yeah, I think so. And it started off like on call, but then like, it's funny because like I was on call for like maybe a week.
Yeah.
But then the person that trained me, she was like, yo, like we really like you and we love the way that you carry this store and you talk to people. And I'm like, that's actually kind of funny because I'm introverted. But
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah. Well, how do I say this? I'm what you would call like an introverted extrovert.
Ambivert.
Yeah. But I have like my MBTI. Do you know MBTI?
Yeah.
It's your personality type.
Your personality.
Yeah. I retook it and I'm an INTP or an INFP, something like that.
I'm not too familiar with them.
Which means like I'm like the I stands for introverted. And I'm like,
Oh.
but I'm only like maybe 4%, like 4 to like 6%. Like more introverted than I am extroverted, so I'm like not too far off. Like I'm in between.
So a lot of people don't know this, but like, how do you define introvert and extrovert? Like, what do you think it means?
Introvert is like when I would say like being introverted is in comparison to extrovertedness. Like being an extrovert is you are like openly sociable and like you have that like capability to go up and talk to people and be able to be a conversation starter. For a fact, I grew up doing that totally. But, you know, as the years go by and, you know, you have like them trust issues and like as the older you get and kind of like you change your way of thinking, I feel like people change. So then you get a little bit more reserved and, you know, less trusting or whatever you would say. So in that sense, I'm a little bit more reserved in that nature because I've been told like growing up, like, oh, I talk a lot and stuff like that. So I've kind of like took that back, and I guess that's what made me introverted. So in a sense, like introverted is you're a little bit more reserved or shy, and not all introverts like don't like talking to people. A lot of introverts, like for me, love talking to people. We just, you know, are nervous to start off the conversation because of judging and like preconceptions of like, oh, they talk a lot, or you know, they never shut up or something. So
so that's definitely true, like the characteristics of like introvert and extrovert, but they actually I guess you would say they come from like extrovert means that you gain energy from social experiences.
Okay.
So that's why like extroverts, we have like an idea of them being very like talkative, very social, they have a lot of friends, but it just means that they get energy from going to like places that are sociable.
And then introverts like, drain.
Yes.
Like get drained.
Yes,
yeah.
and
So
they get drained.
I definitely get drained. Are you saying you're an extrovert?
No, I'm an introvert. Yeah.
Okay.
I hate social like
interactions and stuff like that, or social gatherings.
Like they just drain me. I'm just like, oh, this is so many people. Oh my God, you know. But I mean, there's certain places, like if I go to Agave, shout out Long Beach, you know, the clubs out there, that's my spot, yo.
I haven't been.
Yo, you'll see me at Agave every Saturday.
Dang, I'm usually at like Alex's bar.
Where's that?
It's in downtown Long Beach.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's called Alex's Bar. They got like a photo booth. I recently just also went to the Vine.
The Vine?
Yeah, dude.
What the heck?
You call yourself an LB local.
Well, I am an LB local. Excuse me. No. So I've never heard of those spots. I go down on Pine Street, and there's Agave, there's a Sevilla, Harbor, Shannon's.
See, I'm not too familiar. I just kind of go where like I can't remember where my friend lives, but she lives in Long Beach as well, and those are her places. She goes to the Vine, and which is a little bit just it's a bar that plays like live bands, and they have a really cool like smoking corner in the room, and then
sick.
Yeah, and the bathroom's like filled with like graffitied with stickers and stuff like that. So it's like that kind of bar, and it's like really like room lit, kind of like, you know, when you walk into Abercrombie and Fitch or Hollister back in the day, it's like very dark, and it's just like profusely smells like cologne and like alcohol. So it's like that kind of vibe. And then Alex's Bar has like bright pink walls, and when you go into the bathroom, there's like cupid babies and like devil babies like all over the
I feel like those sound like that one specifically like an IG type of like story vibe.
Yeah, no, it's definitely an Instagram spot for sure. And then all the girlies go and take photo booth pictures. Yeah.
Well, like, so for me, I was really not into partying until last year, until I met my girlfriend. That like I was like, oh, I get it now. No, like actually,
get it.
No, that's a lie. So I've been partying since like high school, but like when it came to bars and clubs, specifically bars, I was like, this is kind of lame. Like as a guy, you go to get chicks as a guy. Let's be honest. You know? And it's just like, for me, that was dumb. Like I'd rather go on like apps or just like meet girls in like random spots and say, yo, what's up? Versus going to clubs, because you go with that intention and it's just not fun, like for me at least. Yeah. And
so some girls just like don't like being approached at the bar in the club.
And it's actually different as well, like approaching a girl at a club or bar versus in person, because at a club and bar you have barriers up, you know, you're just like, I know what you want, get away from me. Right. And then, but like that same girl during the day, it's like, hello, how's it going? And they're just like, oh, hey, like they're shy.
That's a funny story.
Oh yeah, what? Oh yeah, go to that story.
I'm like, I feel like we're jumping to like 100 conversations.
That's okay.
No, and I'm living
that's
for
how
it.
That's how I think. My mind is like, I have ADHD probably.
No, literally me. Like, this is our segment, Tangents with Christian and Kella.
Yes. And then next week, in TEA. In
tea with vintage. We spill so much tea. It's crazy. That's why I forget that you're my boss, because I'm like, yo, dude, like this one time. Okay, so quick story or long story short, basically, really sweet girl, but yeah. I'm like,
today.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No.
They're talking about the 50-year-old guy that asked for your number.
Oh no. I mean, that's another story.
Okay.
I mean, that typically happens like a lot, but that was like one of the first times I got approached like on the clock. I'm like, dude, like, don't you see me working? Like,
yeah.
But
hey, guy has to shoot his shot, you know?
No, it was like definitely like mad creepy man vibes. I was like, get away from me. Yeah. But yeah, he got approached by a lovely young lady, and I knew she was like awkward, but then I was like, that's okay, you know, some people are awkward, and you know, she definitely looks introverted, you know, which is totally fine, you know. Obviously there's so many different people in this world, so, and I honestly thought it was cute, but just the fact she was like talking about your Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I knew for a fact, I was like, you're not in here for the Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
All right, so I'll say something right now. Let me just fix this.
Oh yeah. Can you edit that out?
No, it's okay.
You're just kidding.
It's just like bugging me.
Oh no, you're good.
There you go. Sweet.
Sweet.
I'm just annoying like that. Anyways, so this girl comes in very like she looks very sweet.
Wait, can I do you one?
Go ahead. Oh, that was amazing.
Rockstar.
ASMR.
Wait,
hold up.
ASMR with Christian. We got so many segments going on. We got like playlist on playlist on playlist.
I'm about to get the glue out.
The slide.
Let's go.
No, like
that's after hours ASMR.
After hours with Inti Vintage.
Imagine you like scrolling through TikTok, you can just see me.
Like your first
putting lip gloss on my
your first video, like the first video, like scrolling through your TikTok page, you're dressing a mannequin. The next one is
oh my, that'd be so bad.
You're like, dress a mannequin with me.
Yo, that'd be actually funny. Should I do that?
Okay, tell your story, bro.
I'm down. Wait, hold up. Turn off the lights. Let's go.
I mean, we have the LED lights. I mean, you've seen this.
Yeah, I've seen
like the TikTok lights.
That's what I'm saying. What if I was like you were scrolling at night and like randomly I'm live. I'm just
like the brush. They're like,
yeah, it's actually amazing.
No,
like,
honestly, that's another topic that we can talk about.
Okay. But so let's go back to the story. So this is actually a really good.
The sweet young lady.
This girl, like, and I really didn't want to like say anything because she, very nice, very innocent, sweet looking girl, right? Walks in. I'll tell you right now, I knew she was like looking like she was into me because she walked in and I looked up and she was just staring in my eyes, and I was like, oh fuck, and because like sometimes
sorry, I don't mean to laugh. I think that's really cute, but like,
no, yeah. I mean,
I think I'm just laughing just because I was there and I saw it, and like sometimes like dealing with that kind of like you don't know how you would deal with like confrontation or like someone like being attracted to you unless like you actually deal with it. Like you would think like, oh, like, you know, it's totally fine, but you know, just so body language and everything, it was just like the I was vicariously living it living it through you. But anyways, continue your story.
No, so she comes in and I thought she like recognized me from TikTok because sometimes that happens, like people come specifically to the store because they saw me on TikTok and it's really cool. Like I'm like, yeah, that's awesome, like you know, my marketing worked. But
go Indy
Indy with or Christian ASMR. Oh, sorry, I don't. That was a bad joke. Anyways, so she comes in. I thought she recognized me from that, and that's why she kept looking at me. But then she's like, she walks towards Mikela on like that register, and then kind of just like wanders over to me, and then it's like, oh, are those Yu-Gi-Oh cards? And I'm like, yeah. Do you want to see them? And she's like, yeah. Let me see them. And I was assuming because she wanted to buy them. I was like, okay, cool. I can sell them for like $1 or something, you know? I got them for real cheap. I was like, yo, let's do this.
Yeah, we get a lot of inquiries about your Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Oh, yeah. Just sell them for $1. Who cares? I mean, I got them for like dirt cheap.
Really? Mm-hmm. I always say no. Like, these
Get the fuck out.
I'm like, these are collectible. These are the bosses. Like, you ask one more time, the boss is going to come for you. No, I'm just kidding. No, but it's always like little kids that come in. And I'm like, first of all, name a Yu-Gi-Oh character besides Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, and his name's not even Yu-Gi-Oh, it's just Yugi. Like, come on.
Oh, you know that? Did you watch it?
Yeah, I grew up watching it.
Oh, nice. I think I watched a little bit, but I just don't remember.
No,
I watched Pokemon. That's what I watched.
Yeah, I was gonna say another tangent, but like, you know, when he goes like, I watched the dub. I mean, the sub was really good too, but the dub is just like better because it's just like this like 13, 14-year-old boy. and he sounds like this, and he's like, it's time to do or something. And I'm like, yo, aren't you supposed to be like in middle school? And he sounds like a 30-year-old man.
Oh, okay.
No, it's dope. You should watch it.
I never watched it, but I know my buddy
Fake
liked
fan?
Dragon Ball Z.
It's like, you're a fake fan? You have Yu-Gi-Oh cards? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'm a fake fan, bro. I'm just trying to, be cool.
You're more into DBZ. I feel that. That's
No, I wasn't. My buddy was.
Oh,
and he was
okay.
always like pushing it on me, like, watch it. And he was like in high school. I'm like, bro.
You should watch it. I mean,
Yeah.
If you're into anime.
Yeah,
But
I never really tried it out. There was one, the ghouls or something.
The what?
Ghouls, like vampire ghouls or I don't know what it was, but I watched it back in like 2015. Pretty good. It was with like a random buddy I met in college, and something ghouls, and it's about like
Tokyo Ghoul?
Yes.
Yeah, like when he goes, like, sorry, spoiler alert, but honestly, it shouldn't be a spoiler by now, because if you're watching this and you've never seen Tokyo Ghoul.
I haven't. I just watched like the first
Oh,
episode.
I was going to say, like, it's like basically the first scene, he goes on a date with a really pretty woman with purple hair, and then she eats him, and then he turns half.
Oh yeah, I don't
Ghoul.
remember that. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Poor
and
guy.
then he's like,
never trust girls, guys.
yeah, Mr. Kaneki. He's just so, is that his name, Kaneki?
I don't know.
I can't remember because I watched it in middle school.
Okay.
But like, yeah, it's just like, poor guy, he just goes on a date, little shy little guy, and he just comes back and state like half ghoul.
Oh.
And then he just, lives this life.
It's a metaphor for women. They eat you alive and
Yeah.
you strand.
That's another topic.
Okay, so back to the story. So I'm there. I'm like, okay, cool. I can sell these Yu-Gi-Oh cards for $1. Let's do it. So I'm like, oh, do you collect Yu-Gi-Oh cards? And she's like, no, they just look cool. I'm like, I just pulled all these out. Okay,
right.
That's cool. And then she's looking through them. He just burped.
Yeah. The bubbles, I was like,
yeah.
it's coming.
So I forgot what I was saying.
She said,
Oh,
these
yeah,
are
yeah.
really cute.
No.
Oh, no, wait. Okay, sorry. Back up.
So back up. So she's like, this was literally like a cartoon. Like it was like, this felt like a prank.
No, that's what I'm saying. I was looking for the cameras. I was like,
I
wait,
know.
I was looking at all the cameras. I
It
was
felt like
did
it
you
was
set
like
this up?
acted or something. It was insane. It was very interesting. I'm very happy I went through that because it was an experience, right?
Yeah.
So she's
you were
looking.
you were in my newest commercial. Just kidding. It's a commercial. It's a social experiment.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, that makes sense.
No,
I
I'm
get it
just
now. Okay,
yeah.
okay. So I know the cameras pop up like out of like.
No, hi, my name is John Quinones on What Would You Do? Have you seen
No, I
that?
haven't seen that.
I feel like really, I'm like, and I'm the younger one. I'm like,
What?
That's an older YouTube. Like,
Oh no, I didn't.
or
start
like an
watching
old
YouTube until
well, that's like, it's on
later.
YouTube, but it's a TV show. It's called What Would You Do? And it's this.
Nope.
It's this Hispanic like 50,
Oh, so
60.
because I'm brown, I should know.
No.
I see where you're going. I see where you're
No,
going.
bro, I did not.
Racist, canceled.
I'm leaving. No. I'm like.
All right, we'll edit that out.
No, I'm just kidding.
No. All right, I'll say this. Okay. She's looking through her cards,
Mm-hmm.
and then she's like, "Oh my god, oh wow." And then she's like, "Oh my god, these are so cute." And she's like, "Oh."
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh.
And I was
don't
like,
mean to laugh.
"What?" And then she was like, "Oh, like, I meant to say cool, but I said cute because I was thinking of you." And I was like, "Oh." I was like, "Oh, thank you." And then she says, "Yeah, you're really hot." And then
The way I audibly gasped when I saw that happen, I was like, and I felt bad if she heard me, but
no, she did. She did.
when she said that, I went, and like, I felt so bad because I don't want her to feel like awkward.
of
Like, I
course.
love that she shot her shot, and
Yeah.
like, this is in no way me like making
No,
fun
this
of
is
her.
none of judgy stuff. It was just like a really interesting experience that we went through.
No, like when I saw this happen, I was like, "Oh, girl, I wish I got the guts like you." But honestly, just like seeing that like firsthand, I was just very captivated just by like what made her like.
Well, for you, but
Yeah,
meanwhile,
it's just
I'm
like-
there just taking the bullets. I'm like, oh, like,
Yeah.
what do I do?
And I think it just makes it more awkward because
Yeah.
obviously you're not single. And
Yeah. It was awkward. Not just because that. I mean, that's happened before, and it's like very like, in a normal way. And I'm just like,
Mhm.
no, I actually have a girlfriend. Like, sorry, I won't give you my Instagram.
Right. No, and I think
But that was just really
both
awkward.
of us, yeah.
the way she went about it. And that's what made me very uncomfortable, because after that, it was like she was waiting around for me to ask for her number, because she kept like standing there and like trying to make conversation.
She was waiting for you to ask for her number.
She was waiting for me to like kind of keep engaging with her, and like, but I don't want to be rude and just be like, I have a girlfriend, bye.
Well, of course,
you know?
yeah.
So I was just trying to be nice, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then asking me questions like where I went to school, this and that. And then I was like, okay.
I really appreciate the effort, though. She was like...
Yeah, she was persistent.
Yeah. No, I like that. I mean, you don't get a lot of people like that nowadays. Like, you know, chivalry is not dead, people. She, you know, she saw an opportunity.
And she took it.
And
she grabbed it by the horns and took it.
She sprinted to it. And
she's a hunter.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
But she didn't gather.
And then kudos for her, because not even guys, a lot of guys do that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But it was very awkward for me because, you know, I didn't want to be rude, and I'm not judging it. It was just very weird.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be like a nice way for me just to go to the back and like hopefully she would leave, you know?
Oh, yeah. Like kind of like take the hint in a nice way. Like, oh, hey, I'm Mr. Manager. I got to go do Mr. Manager things in the back.
And I should have said that, but I was just like in the moment, I was like, oh, okay, well, I have to like go count the cash real quick and do some stuff in the back. And then she said, oh, I'm not making you feel weird. And I'm like, no, not at all. I just have to do some stuff, but I really appreciate you, you know, saying what you said. And then I go in the back and I check the cameras, and then like 10 minutes later, she's still talking to Mikela, and then you can tell her what happened.
Yeah, I mean, she was really nice. I mean, nice. She, you know, as kind of like an introvert, I'm not as nearly as introverted as her, but you know, there's, like I said, there's different levels to introvert and being extroverted and stuff. You know, there's more exuberant extroverted people, and in this case, she was just a little bit shyer than me. You know, and you know, she's just a little less like approaching, or no, she's definitely approaching, but I mean,
grab him by the bull. I mean, by the horns.
Yeah, exactly. But so she's definitely approaching, but she's just a little like, you can tell she is kind of like new to trying to like,
yeah, and you know, good for her.
Yeah, like kind of approach that, but she just kind of has like a different way of doing it, just maybe because she's not used to it. Exactly. And so, you know, knowing me, I like making conversation with people. I like always making people feel comfortable, and that I'm, you know, me and like my environment and wherever I am, it's a safe space. I always want people to make sure that, you know, never feel uncomfortable with me. I am not a judger and stuff like that. So, you know, I asked her questions and I got to know her, and she's just a little shyer, but I did tell her, like, you know, you're definitely sweet, and I did recommend her some dating apps. And she was like, she's like, yeah, I'm just nervous to go on dating apps because I don't know people's intentions. And I was like, honestly, that's fair, girlfriend, because like that's why I couldn't do dating apps. You know, I mean, I don't have experience with dating apps because like, you know, I've been with my boyfriend for like a hot minute, but I would say, like, I just told her, like, you know, from what I have vicariously like seen through like my friends and my peers, like, don't go on Tinder. I mean, I don't judge you if you're on Tinder, but like in this case, like this girl, she's kind of like a little bit more like pure and nice and innocent. And I said, if you're kind of like worried about meeting the wrong people, maybe Tinder's not, you know, the best, you know, intended for you. So I kind of gave her some other options, and then I came to find out she, you know, she's of Christian faith, so I recommended like Christian Mingle and Plenty of Fish.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, yeah, these people are probably going to be a little bit more respectful towards, you know, who you are as a person. And I was like, and you definitely seem sweet and that, you know, you are deserving. And she was like, yeah, I just really want a boyfriend. And I was like, girl, you will get that boyfriend.
Yeah,
I was like,
keep approaching.
No, literally, like, if you're going to keep persisting, like, you know, what she did with you, I was like, you know, she's going to land on her desired target soon enough. But yeah, she just kept talking, and I was just like, you know, wanted to let her know that, like, oh, like, hey, just give me one moment, and then, you know, I have to make my rounds around the store, you know, as someone that is still on the clock. I still have to kind of talk to other customers, but yeah, she wouldn't leave. And I mean, she was very persistent. And then when did she leave? I think she left when I went on my break. On my lunch break.
I went out and
took for me to leave, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
She's like, oh, Mikela's leaving. That's my final straw. She's like,
yeah. Well, I mean, I felt bad because I was gonna say goodbye, but she just like turned the other way and just walked out. I was like, oh, okay. Maybe she felt like shy to say
Maybe,
bye. Maybe
yeah.
she felt...
Oh, you know, she did say when you left, she was like, yeah, I really wanted to ask for his number. And I was like, oh, well, did you? And she was like, well, he told me he had a boyfriend.
Girlfriend.
Sorry.
Let's make that clear.
Hey, I mean...
How'd you know?
No judgment if you did, though.
Wait, who told you?
Wait, you're like, wait, cut the cameras. No, but I mean, I meant girlfriend. Clearly. Wink, wink. But yeah, she was like, but maybe I'll try again and see if he's still...
Imagine she's just like trying to get me to cheat and stuff. She's like, come on.
She doesn't seem the type.
No, she's not
though.
the type.
She was very like twiddling her thumbs together, type, like, you know, pushing her index fingers together like this kind of thing. Like,
well, I mean,
she was very nice.
Very nice, and
her
that's
name,
kind of a... Oh.
No, her name is a secret. We're not going to disclose her name.
Of course not. We cannot disclose.
I was going to say shout out, but no, we're not.
She's listening, just...
No, she was very nice.
No, very nice. And to go on to a different point is the fact that she's like working on something. You know, not a lot of people do that. Not a lot of people take initiative to like try and better themselves on something that they know they're lacking.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's what I'm saying. I gave her so much kudos.
Yeah.
For that, because for someone already of like shy nature to like, you know, be like, okay, I see an attractive person and I'm gonna approach them and shoot my shot. And
I feel like that's the biggest like leap too, because you could do, I know there's like a lot of like, I think it's like exposure therapy or something, or rejection therapy, but basically like for really shy people.
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, so it's like whatever, if they're shy or very introverted, you can just expose them to like public settings, like go up and like go do the worm next to that person, or like go lay down for like 5 minutes.
What?
Yeah, so you're just trying to get, and this is good for anyone. I never really did it. Technically I did, and I'll get into that a little bit. But it's good for someone just to kind of get over these humps of like social anxiety and realize that no one really cares of like what you do, you know?
Interesting.
So, I mean, yeah, like good for her. And I guess to get to what I did was like after high school, or like kind of like towards the end of high school and then like college, you know, being a dude trying to get girls, I was like going up to girls, hey, how's it going?
Oh my God.
And it was always like weird, like awkward to do, but you get good at it. And just like with anything, like you kind of get over that anxiety.
Yeah, I was basically telling her like practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, I was told something different growing up. Like, shout out to my coach when I was in middle school. I was in color guard, fun fact. You know, the one that twirling the flags and spinning the rifles. She always told us practice does not make perfect. It's perfect practice makes perfect. So like, I mean, she was just a little manic, but like but honestly, like to kind of like think about that, you know, good practice does make good results. And like, so I don't really think perfect practice makes perfect, because, you know, in a sense, we will never be able to perfect, you know, what we want to do. We'll only just get better at it. I mean, this is just my belief. I don't think perfect necessarily exists. I think we'll always be striving for better. But, like, look at me being all, you know, educational. But I honestly think that, like, this, you know, like my 8th grade coach, when she was like, perfect practice makes perfect, I kind of like knew that she was kind of implying that good practice makes good results. So like for her to come and just keep practicing, eventually she's gonna like quote on perfect her skill, because the more she does it and the better she practices her approaches with people and the way that she talks. And I think like honestly this applies to everybody, like you know, me doing it with like, you know, whatever I want to do, and then you know, fulfilling this podcast, you know what I mean, you know, just like
the consistency and the persistence of just trying to get over that hump and just doing it.
Yeah,
you know,
good
taking action.
Practice makes good results. So yeah, and essentially, quote, perfect practice makes perfect.
Hell yeah.
Even though nothing will ever be perfect.
Yeah. But you can almost get close and get to the perfect of what perfect means to you.
Well, right. And well, that's what I'm saying. Like, we'll always be striving for better, but like to the point where you are happy, like you are happy with like your results, then, you know, that could be perfect. But for me, I am always striving for better. I'm always like, okay, what can I do to kind of make, you know, this even better?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I apply that with like everything that I do. I'm just so meticulous, so so that's just me. I know some people kind of I don't want to say settle, but a lot of people are very pleased with what they do usually within like their first or few tries. But you know, everybody's different. For me, I'm always like striving for like, you know, a better result. I don't know. Maybe that's just how I was brought up. I'm always just like pushing myself because I know I'm capable of doing something else. So when I'm half-assing, I'm like, nah, I gotta, you know, elevate this a little bit. So
yeah, and then like with everything, I think it's good to do your best, you know, because
this
it
got
feels
so
good.
deep.
Well, yeah, I mean, and it's true though, but
Right,
I mean,
right.
like, it's good to do your best because not only does it feel good for yourself that you went all out on something, but it also is like your results speak, and like people are always watching, you know, they see how hard you're working, and opportunities come from that as well, you know.
Yeah, what were you saying earlier? Like, this is us being observant of like of what happened. You just hear the air freshener go off recently.
Oh yeah,
It's like
it's like a fart in the background. Who farted?
Christian.
Yeah, so what I said earlier was, after that whole situation with that lovely girl,
yeah, shout out to her. See, she gave us something good to talk about.
yeah, I was saying that like it's not judging or anything, it's just being observant and being self-aware of not just that, but like situations. You know, it's very good to be self-aware. And I think I was having a conversation with someone else, telling them that I think, not to get too deep, but like trauma and like troubles really matures people faster at a younger age, I feel like. And
absolutely.
I don't think it's like we should strive to traumatize kids, but like, I mean, I know I had like a kind of tough upbringing, and it made me mature faster.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
it gives you such an advantage in life, especially here in the US where you graduate when you're 18. You know, I feel like that's kind of a little of a late start. Because I think in Europe it's like 16, right, where they graduate and they go to school.
I
college.
think so. Yeah. No, I think so, because I do know, like in France for sure, they call high school college and their college university. Because like, yeah, because I know like, and I mean, excuse my French, but it's like
croissant.
Yeah, in croissant. No, like they say high school is collège, and then college is university.
Yeah, but does that mean?
Yeah, but college is essentially like, you know, what we call community college.
Oh.
Like, because it's like kind of like high school is basically like their community college prep. They technically don't really say like, because I don't even like, what's the definition of high school? It's just like a higher like grade
honestly,
school.
High school was BS. I mean, like what you learn there, in my opinion, it's like, because I went to, I think I had like a 3.0 in high school. And then college, it's like retaking all the classes. Like, I think I wasn't even like at college level. I was like one class under college level for math and for like for.
But did you do notably better in college than you did in high school?
Yeah, 100% way better.
That was me too. I think honestly, the U.S. high school system, I'm like, don't listen to this government.
And that's what I'm saying, is that because those 4 years, in my opinion, it's like a YouTube video. You could watch history. You could watch this stuff.
Absolutely.
And it's like you waste these 4 years that can be like something way like an apprenticeship or something, where you learn a skill or you learn other really valuable skills and you get a head start in life. Because a lot of times people graduate and they're 22, 23, and it's like, okay, now I go and get skills, and it's like, bro, you just wasted like 8 years basically, where you could have been a master at something, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, I was a part of that, and it sucks because I could have been way more ahead.
Right. But yeah, no, I totally agree. But that's why I think like the European school system is just like, you know, not only is it like, I think like most countries, education is free. So, and I think like that's why they take their education work seriously. So like I said, in France, like their college, their high school basically being, you know, collège, they, you know, I'm sure like the system is just a lot better because like, because they're probably, I don't know, I'm like speaking out of my ass essentially, but I mean, listen, if you're calling your high school college, basically you're learning like notably, you know, probably a better form of education. I mean, US and France education is different or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they're learning different things, but they're probably learning better things like, I mean, do they have taxes in France?
I have
but
no
like,
idea.
I'm sure they're probably teaching them real life French problems.
I hope
you know,
so.
because us here in high school, they don't teach us how to file taxes. They don't teach us how to open up our own store.
Yeah.
You know, they worry about that with when we go to college. They're like, oh, you can worry about your adult stuff when you're an adult, which kind of sucks because we should prepping our, future generations to, start out as early as possible. So we kind of like gain that knowledge and sense. So, but I do know that they, like the school systems, like really good in like several other countries. Like, they teach English in elementary school in like almost every country because like English is like the universal language. And so that's just one head start. Like, I think, more school systems should be teaching Spanish or like Chinese to, because like, I just think like, those are also universal languages that are spoken like, if not the same amount than English. So I think like that should be taught to like, kindergartners.
Yeah.
Like coming in, hello, when we do word of the days in elementary school, and they're like, oh, this is the word of the day or letter of the day. They can be doing that with like Spanish word of the day.
Yeah.
In like kindergarten. And then it's like hola. And then there's like, frijol or something. Frijoles or
burrito, chimichanga.
Yeah. Papas
They're just
fritas.
like teaching you a Del Taco. Like
papas
drive-through
fritas
menu.
con chile. So like teaching that would definitely
I'll get the horchata, please.
So definitely teaching that
Yeah.
would like essentially just be better. I don't know. That was just me, like I said, speaking out my ass, but that's me
I
being
think,
educational for the day.
I think the US is, and I'm young, I don't know, I'm talking out my ass, but in my opinion, I think
we both are.
Yeah.
Talking out of our ass with Inti Vintage.
Tea vintage with ASMR during the breaks. No, I think we're babied, and I think having a head start in life and having challenges and difficulties, when you're 16, 17 and getting in the workforce or finding a skill or apprenticeship. It
is a tough word.
Apprenticeship.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Will really like mature people faster, and yeah, I don't know. I think it just yeah. I'll end that tangent. Yeah, that's my thought.
Yeah, no, that's a good table talk, honestly.
Yeah.
I think we covered so many good things. I'm like, we didn't even finish introducing myself.
Oh yeah, so you're a model.
Yeah, and which is like cool, honestly. I never really thought I would get into that like world. I never thought I was cool enough.
Well, go through the whole process of what happened, because I remember you said it kind of just spontaneously happened, which I feel like is everyone's dream, just to be like scouted or something.
Listen, yeah, it kind of just, the opportunity fell onto my lap, and I am fortunate to say that, some people, have to take the extra mile. I mean, I'm not saying that I haven't taken the extra mile, because I do, not growing up with those opportunities, kind of like, for an example, like nepotism babies, they get born into the industry, so they kind of have more opportunities. Like,
wait, nepotism babies? What is that?
Oh my gosh, you don't know nepotism babies? So nepotism, so a quick definition, nepotism basically means, like, it essentially means that, like, you have a direct connection or a link to something that is, like, notably, like praised upon. Yeah, like you basically have like a privilege in something, and nepotism can be throughout, like it can carry in like so many forms. Like it can be in the entertainment industry, it can be in sports, it can be college students, like like let's just say your dad went to Harvard and you got into Harvard because of your dad. Nepotism baby.
Or like that whole Alex Friedman.
What is that?
Right, the dude from FTX. Both his parents were law professors.
We'll see. I don't know. I'm not really too familiar with that sense. I'm kind of like out of touch when it comes to like certain things like in the media.
A privilege, like a link.
But yeah, if his parents were law student or like law people, and then he got into the industry because of his parents, essentially, that's a nickname that like our generation made, basically nepotism baby, like nepotistic baby, is like babies born into the industry. So they kind of had the opportunity like given to them.
Yeah.
They didn't like really work to get there. So like for me, the opportunity fell on my lap, but it wasn't handed to me. You know, they were like, you like, let's try this out if you want to do it. You know, there's obviously no pressure, but then obviously because I had no background, I had no acting experience. I only had modeling experience through like freelancing, like taking photos with my friends and, you know, getting some free stuff online and modeling for it on my Instagram and posting. And so basically kind of like a PR. It's like you get free stuff in exchange for like content. So yeah, so essentially like I still have to like work for, you know, what I do, but yeah, it just came to me because of my twin sister. She's the one that pursued theater in high school, and she's a theater major now in college. And she's always been the thespian. She's the one that got me into like Phantom of the Opera and just doing all that kind of stuff. And she was like in she was in not Broadway, but yeah, she was in a show in our high school. She was in the theater production for Legally Blonde. Oh, you know the movie Legally Blonde with Reese Witherspoon? Yeah, she was Brooke Wyndham, the one that got sent to jail, which was really cool. So seeing her do that, it kind of like sparked a joy in me, and I was like, oh my god, I love seeing her on stage because it looks so natural. And it didn't happen until like a few years later. She got scouted online for modeling through Instagram on the Explore page, and while she was getting her like portfolio like worked out and stuff, 6 months later, which is I think is like super funny because it didn't happen right away, it just happened 6 months, like her agent was like, oh, you have an identical twin, like it would be really cool to bring her along. And me in the back of my head, I'm like, why didn't you think of this 6 months ago? Like
this guy is slow.
I'm like, this guy didn't know she had a twin, because he was like he was like, wait, you have a twin sister? And I was like, dude, I am plastered all over her social media. Like, how did you not know? But it's okay. Honestly, I was like, I'm gonna let her do her thing because this is what she wanted to do. I remember when she got signed and I was like, I want to do it, and she was like, you're copying me. I was like, yeah.
Is that a thing with twins? Is it always like this kind of
competition
and also like, let me do my own thing? Because you guys are pretty much tied to each other from at a young age.
Absolutely.
And how is that like separating? And also like, not to jump forward, but
no,
like even you guys moving, like her moving away, and how's that whole thing with twins?
Honestly, I think like growing up with her, we were so enmeshed in like our lives together. Like we basically did everything together, technically attached by the hip, if you could say. We always wore the same clothes, and if it wasn't the same clothes, it was like different clothes, but it was like, well, it was like kind of the same style but like different colors. Like I would have I would have the same shirt, and mine would be pink and she would be blue. We didn't really like start expressing ourselves like individually until we were like 12, 13. Like basically when we went into middle school. Like she was a little more girly at the time, like with like the boho, like bohemian, like hippie vibes, and I was really into like Skrillex and Neuro, and so really? I was so I had like the finger gloves, like the LMFAO glasses.
Wow.
And I always had like the studded belts and like the roar, that means I love you, and dinosaur kind of stuff. So like we really express ourselves differently. But so I was basically like dressing up like MySpace girl, and she was dressing up like a Pinterest Tumblr girl. But you know, now the roles have switched. She's a little bit more androgynous, and I express myself in various forms. So to answer your question, it's kind of hard like being a twin, because like I said, when I got scouted, you know, he was like, this would be really cool, like twin dynamic to have you guys model. And first off, she was like, you know, like I wanted to do this first, but you are my twin and it would be fun to do it with you. And this is not me talking down on her, because I know this was her dream. But you know, I didn't really realize I wanted to do this until I booked a job with her. So I signed on with her because I was like, I just want to try it out. It seems fun. And I know, like, you know, being twins sell. I know that sounds like kind of like we're saying money is like end all be all, but like in a way, like, you know, if you're a twin, that's already like, you know, people look at you kind of like different. So, you know, when you put that in the industry, it's kind of a little bit more like different. So we just like built our portfolios together, and then not until we booked our first job, it was not even modeling, it was a commercial job first. because when we got signed there, we wanted to do modeling, only modeling. But then when we got placed in an LA management that does commercial work too, they were like, you guys definitely have like TV faces and TV personality. Are you ever open to doing that? And I was like, well, I never want to get into that, but that's like kind of interesting. And my sister was like, oh my God, yes, like I want to get acting. And she was one telling me like, you know, commercial work can lead to like theatrical and like doing movies and TV shows.
And she had a background with theater and stuff. So
yeah, so she was
very
like,
excited for that.
Oh yeah, so when we booked our first job, it was a commercial, and it was just short. It was a pretty short role too, but like, you know, that essentially changed my life, because you know, doing that job and seeing myself on TV for the first time, like over and over, and then seeing like the support that I got from my family and my peers and, you know, friends and all that, I was just like, oh my God, like this makes me feel so good. Like I never really had that kind of spark for something before. I mean, I thought I did when I was in high school. At first I wanted to be a fashion designer.
Yeah.
And I mean, essentially I would still love to have my own brand, because I still love fashion. I feel like my life emulates, like, it's just like fashion. I love clothes and stuff like that, but like career wise, I really love just like being in front of a camera, and I think it's like it comes really natural to me. And the more I started doing it, and the more compliments I was getting from like production companies, like, wow, you're natural, like how long have you been doing this? And I tell them, oh, this is like my second commercial, or this is my first time. Like when my twin and I did our first one, they were like, oh, you guys are so good. And I think like the casting director was like the only one that knew that it was our first time, but like the director and like the production assistants and like, you know, everybody that was on set, like even like our castmates, everyone was like, you guys are so good. Like, how long have you been doing this? And we were like, 2 days.
Yo, let's go.
And they were
Killa
like,
Mikela.
yeah, Killa. And it was just like, that's when I knew, like, I got so much recognition from all these people that have been doing it so many years. Like, I was with people on set that were like, that did TV acting for like 30 years.
Damn.
And there's some people that stay in TV acting because that's where the money's at. Like,
really?
Commercial. Yeah, wow. Commercial work. Because, you know, like the residuals and stuff like that. And, you know, some people are really happy with the consistent TV work. For me, like I said, I always strive to be better. I would love to be in movies.
That would be sick.
I'm like, I would love to be on the pod. Like,
yeah,
so I just like I said, like just being a jack of all trades. Like, I love just doing everything. I just want to feel like I can like touch my, like dip my toes in every single thing if I could possibly can. Yeah. Without overwhelming myself, of course.
Well, all right. So then I'll say this real quick. Yeah, that's why you're gonna like start the TikTok and stuff, right? That you want to do vlogs and all that.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do that since I was like 13. Yeah. I actually started a YouTube channel when I was 13, and I was doing kind of like, if the girlies are watching, if you're interested in like Makeup by Mandy or Bethany Moda, like only if like, I mean, if you're my age, those are beauty gurus from like early 2010s, like 2013, like 2012 to 2014, basically. Those girls like did like makeup hauls, or they did like DIY crafts and stuff. So I started out kind of doing that, but then like I didn't really have a camera. I was filming on like an iPhone 4, which was like really bad quality, and I was like trying to make DIYs with like pieces of paper and stuff like that. So that's kind of how it started. But then like someone from my middle school found my YouTube channel, well, mine and Jill's YouTube channel, and they were like judging, and so like me and Jill deleted it. And like, so now I kind of just have this constant fear of being perceived on Instagram, like social media and stuff like that. And that's why I like deleted TikTok, because I've tried TikTok so many times and I don't see the traction. And then I see people like, you know, make comments, and I'm a kind of a people pleaser. So I was like, oh, like, you know, if they don't like it, then no one will. So
and that's what sucks, is that like that'll happen. Like, you'll try something and then someone judges, and an automatic reaction, which I think is primal, is that we just throw that idea away because of fear of being judged. And I think that what that comes from is like primal, like old hunters and gatherers type of stuff. And if you do, and if you do something wrong, like you're afraid of being like basically persecuted from, or like rejected, outcasted. There's the word, from the group and stuff. So I think that's where that comes from. But
I mean, everything has a history to it. So the way we think is just like crazy.
Yeah, I think it's all like instincts and primal of why we react certain ways. But to get back to that point is like, that sucks, because who knows, like if you would have kept it and it's something you actually really enjoy, like now you would have had like 10 years or 12 years of experience under your belt, and you could have been possibly something, like
I could have been on like Architectural Digest, like showing my like $14 million house. Just kidding.
And no, maybe probably.
No, I would never have a $14 million house.
I would.
No, I'll probably stop myself at 13. I'm just kidding.
13.9.
Yeah, 13.99. Just kidding.
Well, then my second point was going to be that, so last night I used to smoke a lot of weed, like after high school.
Okay.
Yeah, or actually like my senior year of high school, allegedly. When it was illegal. And I used to smoke weed after, but I just got super anxious. And lately I've just been like, I kind of miss it. Like it was fun. Like it was very soothing and all that. So I went and got an edible, because it's completely legal now. And
those are scary.
Yeah, so I took it and it was great. I was chilling. I was watching.
Was it like a gummy or chocolate?
It was a gummy, and I was just like laughing, and it was like, oh, this is great.
Wait, this was last night?
Last night.
That's why you came into work late today. Just kidding.
Just, oh my God, where am I? No, so
you wake up on the middle of the side of the road. You're like, bro.
Last night was a movie.
No, this morning was a movie.
Oh yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Poor girl. Anyways, towards the end, everything was great. Towards the end, I think it just started picking up, and I started getting anxious, and that's the whole reason why I stopped smoking or doing weed, was just because it made me so weird. But it was actually good, because when I get anxious, it kind of just makes me question myself, which is not good, but it's also good because it gives you like a reality check, and it kind of makes you like kind of just review what you're doing.
You get deep in your thoughts.
Exactly.
Like,
I get very deep in my thoughts, and I start questioning what I'm doing. So for the most part, I'm still going to continue what I'm doing, but there are some things that I was like kind of rethinking. And to tie it back into what you were saying is that fame, or I guess being in the spotlight,
exposure, basically. Yeah.
That's actually like a big responsibility that I don't think people really realize. I think I've been like kind of chasing that for the past 2 years of like trying to do TikTok and blow up, and because
I think everybody has, because social media has just been, I mean, no offense to you and your craft, because like honestly I think what you do is like super cool, that you're like pursuing, your marketing, into and basically what you want to do through social media. And honestly, because we have the tools, you should utilize it. But honestly, I think social media has been extremely saturated over the past few years. And, there's like no, what's it called? There's no like excitement to being an influencer anymore. Like everybody and their mother is an influencer now. Like 10 years ago, if when I say like Bethany Moda or like Makeup by Mandy, like Amanda Steele, which she now has her own brand, and she's like, I think a year or two younger than me.
Oh, wow. Good for her.
Yeah, and she has like a fashion line and, and stuff like that. So I think like if you talk about them 10 years ago, they were YouTubers and influencers, and they were like, when you're an influencer, you were a big deal. But now, because I feel like social media has been so saturated lately, and because of the exposure of like an app like TikTok, which no judge to TikTok, because, I think, like I said, when we have the tools, we should be able to utilize it, especially because exposure is just so easy on TikTok. But I feel like now, the moment you run into an influencer, it's not like oh my God, really? It's kind of just like, oh yeah. Like especially in like cities like LB, LA, Orange County, stuff like that. But,
and to get onto that, like, I guess what I was getting at was like, I guess I realized last night is like, is that something you really want? Like a lot of people chase it, and a lot of, especially like when we're young and like in high school and barely coming college, because there's a lot of benefits from like having, I'm assuming, I wouldn't know, but like having like good clout, and like you're able to move pieces, you're able to like to do a lot of cool, interesting stuff. But like what comes with it is a lot of like just being under the microscope all the time. Like anything you do, you have to watch. You always have to think about, can I do this? Will this ruin my reputation? And if you ruin one screw up, your whole business, your whole whatever is completely ruined.
You're constantly being observed by the public.
Sorry.
Christian's popular, everybody.
Sorry.
Yes.
So popular.
You are popular.
No, and that just...
Okay,
bro. Jesus Christ.
And that's piercing, too.
I know. Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
So sorry. No, but I was like, what the hell? Like, that sounds terrible. Because, like, to me, fame always sounded kind of cool. Because it seems
I mean, it kind of sounds cool to everybody.
Yeah,
in
but
retrospect.
Like,
retrospect, though.
Yeah, but when you think about it, it's like, because I'm trying to build something, and it would suck if I did something and my whole business, everything I've worked for, completely down the drain. My name is completely ruined. You know, not that I have, you know, skeletons in the closet, but
what are you hiding?
Allegedly. No, but like, think about it. Just really think about it. Like, I don't know who this is gonna reach, but I feel like that's a big part of our culture is fame and money. Well, not the money part, the fame part, and like how cool that is, and how much we look up to celebrities and stuff. But it's actually, I feel like, very daunting, and maybe that's not really what, at least I can speak for myself, is what I want. You know, like, I would rather be rich and anonymous. And I started thinking, I was like, that'd be amazing. I could do whatever I want.
No, seriously, without like a million eyes leering down on you, like constantly checking up like what you're doing, and you know, not having to worry about like I was just gonna make a funny joke, like 100 like update Instagram accounts of like, what is Christian Zambrano doing today? Exactly,
and not having again the constant thing on your mind of like, I can't fuck up. I can't fuck up. Can I do this? Like, you could think of that. Like, can I do this? Can I do that? And it's like just being completely anonymous.
That kind of stuff happens naturally, though. And when I mean naturally, I mean like fame. I definitely think like this is like, for me to just put this out here, not everybody that does TV work and modeling is essentially famous. I think a lot of people get into their head like once you're an actress and model, like, you know, you already, I mean, like, technically you already have one foot in the door of Hollywood and stuff like that, because you're essentially like, you know, the ropes, you kind of like know how a set works, and you talk to people that are probably connected to like some of the most famous people in the world. But some people kind of just get this like, you know, this like preconception of being like, oh, so you're an actor or you're a model, like, do you go to all the LA parties? Are you famous? Like, do you know people? I mean, like, and that's not the case for everybody. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to say that I've connected with like some pretty cool people, and I've worked with some pretty notable like artists and creatives, and you know who you are. So like, I've been pretty blessed, especially just because I started out in like early 2021. But, you know, my journey is still continuing. You know, who's to know, like, who else I'm going to meet this year and stuff. I'm manifesting that I become friends with the right people, though, because I have met people where I've just been like, like, you know, you can just tell that they're in it for the wrong reasons. But I try and, like, not be friends with those people in the first place. So typically, like, my friends that I have out in, like, you know, like the big cities are going to be, like, really, you know, compassionate people still. Yeah. But they just happen to be like, you know, they just happen to have numbers and followers and money and stuff like that.
So I'm sure you've been to like a few events, like modeling, like model parties, or like just influencer events. Have you?
I'm not going to lie. I actually like have been invited to several, but I'm always like here in Temecula where I'm like working. Yeah. And like, honestly, I kind of like strive to like, you know, if I'm working, like, I'm like party with and connect with people, or getting paid and then going home and like cuddling with my cat. Like, I mean, I've been to some.
How were they?
They were good. I would say like my first LA party wasn't even big. It was like maybe like, I mean, this is like pretty, it is like a lot of people, but it's not like a big party. It was like maybe like no more than like 75 people. It was a house party. Yeah. And that's like pretty small, to be honest. And then my other one my second one that I went to was like maybe like no more than, it was like 200 people maybe. And that was like pretty big for me. But I'm not naturally a party person. Like I said, I'm like really introverted in those senses. And at social gatherings, I would say, like, for me, I can talk to someone one-on-one and have like, you know, a conversation that will last like, you know, 8 hours or something. Yeah. You know, if I really like, you know,
8 hours with Inti Vinti.
Yeah, no, seriously, like this podcast is like a live stream, and it's like It's like Twitch. You can honestly, I'm like,
I was thinking about doing like live streaming the pod like live.
Yeah,
on Twitch
no,
or
because
something.
I can talk all day. You can't shut me up,
2
Christian.
years later.
2 years
Please,
later.
let's go home.
You're like gray and everything.
Weird.
It's like 40 years. No, okay. No, I do get drained. But I'm saying like, what was I saying?
About the parties.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that you'd rather stay home.
Yeah,
and do
yeah.
your thing.
See, I'm like, I talk so much, I always forget what I'm saying. But yeah, like, usually when I'm at parties, I get drained easily. Like, you know how you're saying introverts and extroverts, the difference between them. Me, I really do. I do, like, get satisfied off of people with like really nice energy and good energy, where I'm able to talk to them and it feels like natural talking to them, and I can talk to anything, like talk to them about anything basically. But you know, when you're in big parties with like loud music and people are just like drinking and there's reckless behavior, or you know, especially when they're at like bigger events where there's like, you know, a whole bunch of like people that you don't know, and maybe some of those people don't have like all the best intentions, it can kind of get a little like scary for somebody that doesn't really have that party presence. For me, I'm trying to become like a little bit more better at that, kind of like opening myself out there. But typically, like the last party when I went to,
was it the one where you were hungover the next day at work?
No, that was a birthday party, and that was like a party of like, that was like for my best friend, and she turned 24, and I was like, you know what, I don't go out and drink much, and so I like drove out to Orange County, and you know, I was like, I'm not gonna drink that much. Literally like maybe 7 shots of soju later.
Damn.
Plus like more.
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, I don't drink much, but when I do, and it's usually when
I'm the same way.
When I drink, it's always with people that I fuck with, and it's like, it's gotta be like a group of like less than like, you know, I would say it's definitely gotta be with like less than like 30 people for sure, to like, for me to get to that level where I wake up feeling gross as hell. Because usually I just have like a drink or 2 or 3 and I'm fine, and I'm like tipsy, but I'm still socially aware of everything. But that was like one of my first times I actually woken up hungover, because I never get hungover. So that was like really gross.
That's when, like, you know it's a good night.
No, I was heaving. I was like, ooh, it was gross. And like bread, and I love bread, but I was looking at this bread and I was like, damn, that looks so gross right now.
Wow,
like, but anyways, yeah, I'm not a party person, but like if I do surround myself with people that I can really feel like comfortable with, and you know, the vibe is just matching and the energy is just really good, then I don't mind letting loose and having fun. But
I think it's all about balance.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I did my partying, but I wasn't like a bar and
like
club.
in high school or college?
Both. Yeah.
See, I was never a partier in high school. I was like I was a good Christian girl in high school.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I think the only time that I went out to like a party, well, and it wasn't even a party. It was like, well, my friend said it was going to be a party, and we ended up showing up into this like garage, and it was like hot boxed, and there was alcohol everywhere.
Yeah,
and
that's
I think
like a kickback.
No, and I got and I got scared. I was like, what are we doing here? I'm like 16. But anyways, finish.
Well, I was never really into the club or bar scene. Just because again, like what I said, as a guy, it's just not that fun, because you're going with the intention of trying to get girls. Yeah. And it just sounds dumb to me. It's like, bro, I'd rather like go with girls and have a good time and dance and have like
girls night.
Yeah, let's go.
We can go together.
Yo, let's go.
And then you can talk like that, and then girls will be all
Really? Oh, okay. Hey, girls.
Yeah. So this is Christian. Hey. No, honestly, that could work.
Okay. Well, I have a girlfriend, so
I know.
But I just thought it was dumb, and I would avoid clubs and bars, and I would just like, you know, go on dates, or just like go to random I like the house parties, or just like kicking back with buddies. And I'm the type that likes to get really drunk. I'd rather not like casually drink. I like to get like messed up, you know. And I'm still like, I'm the type of drunk that like, I'm still in control of myself. Even when I black out, I'm still like very there. It's very weird. It's very, it's annoying. I think it's like maybe like a trauma thing where
it's
I'm like,
sixth sense.
No, I think I'm just like trying to be in control all the time.
Okay.
Not that I'm very controlling, but like control of myself. And
yeah, that's fair though.
Yeah. But it's annoying though, because sometimes I just want to let loose. I don't want to give a fuck. But then like I'm just always in my head, not in a, like a subconscious way, but more like, yo, like
it just happens.
Stay centered, yo. Like yeah. Don't let
even though you're like, no, I don't want to be
yeah,
centered.
no, stop. And but it wasn't until I met my girlfriend that I just realized I wasn't like going with the right people to bars and clubs.
Yeah,
and
it's all about going and meeting the right people.
Yeah, and we just have a blast. So now I see like the danger of it because like it's so fun that I'm like, I want to go out every weekend. Let's go.
Oh my gosh.
But
do you go out with your girlfriend every weekend, like to the club and stuff? Or
we were. All of last year we did.
Oh my gosh.
It was so fun.
I'm like, I need to hang out with you guys. Like,
no, I was about to say, if you're in Long Beach, you should bring your boyfriend and we just like go bar hopping when you move out there.
No, I'm down. He's a drink connoisseur.
Oh, hell yeah.
No, and he makes his own cocktails and mixes.
Do you
and
guys
stuff.
go out like to bars and stuff? Because my girlfriend was telling me, and people were saying that that's not really normal, like for couples to go party all the time together.
Well, we don't go out that much just because like he doesn't live in Long Beach. He lives out in Buena Park. But like what we do is we go out with other couples. Okay. And we go out like bar hopping, or we go to dinner first, and typically it's like our friends that are in Long Beach. They're an older couple. They're both 30, but they're like, 30's the new 20, right? I mean, no, like literally I always forget that they're 30 because I'm sure. I mean, yeah, because my boyfriend's not far off from age from them. He's like almost 25, and I mean I just turned 23, so in a sense like we're all essentially kind of the same age.
The same age. No, I mean, literally, when you were 18, 19, it seems like, oh my god, so old, but
once you're like 22, 20,
yeah, it's like, oh, it's all the same.
Yeah, like, I don't think like you're different age until you're like maybe 35.
Yeah, even then, I have a buddy who's like 34. I see him the same. Like we go party and stuff.
Exactly.
But that's what I was gonna say though. Is like, do you and him just go party and like go clubbing?
No,
that's what's apparently weird. Because me and her, like, because we just vibe so well. Is
I love that
we go clubbing? And
did you meet her there?
No, I met her on like Bumble.
Sponsored by Bumble.
Sponsored by Bumble with ASMR. Yep. No, but I met her on there, and we just like really clicked. So when we go clubbing all the time, just me and her. Okay. And like we just have a blast.
See, we don't do that, but
why is that like weird?
It's not a weird thing. It's just like,
is that not a normal?
I wouldn't say that's not normal. I mean, whatever works for you guys works. My boyfriend's just a little bit more like, he's a stay-at-home homebody type of guy. Sorry, I burped. But he just like when we go out, he typically likes going maybe to like a dinner or a movie. He's very relaxed. He likes quality time, but not doing like overly too much. Like he's more of like, oh, let's go on a picnic, or let's go like thrift shopping or something. Like he's very just like mellow and relaxed like that. I'm a little bit more of the spontaneous type, so like I do all the same stuff as him because that's just how we vibe. Like what you do with your girlfriend works for you, like going to the bar and clubbing and stuff like that, which is like so cool and admirable. Like I would love to do that, but I'm like, me and my boyfriend, we go thrift shopping, we go to flea markets, which is cool. But when he likes doing that is like with like maybe two other people, or like my sister's a little bit more of like that type of person, to go to like she actually does that with her boyfriend. Actually, now that I think about it, her and her boyfriend, he's the same age as you actually, and he used to live in NoHo. Now they both live in Silver Lake together, so they go bar hopping, they go clubbing together because that's their vibe, that's their energy. They're both extroverted in that sense. Well, actually, like he's really introverted, but he really like likes doing that with her because that's how like he feels energized. He gains energy from hanging out with her in that sense. I think maybe it's just because my boyfriend and I are just different personality. Like I said, I already don't really like that whole scene. That whole scene unless I'm with the right people.
Yeah, you're gonna have a good time with us. It's so fun.
Yeah, and I think like honestly that would be so fun. I think maybe that's just the reason why I don't do it with my boyfriend, is just like knowing how he he already is kind of like a person, like a mellow person, and I like knowing him, like he's like, oh, I'd rather stay home or do something else, and me kind of like being already like shy natured when it comes to bars and clubs and stuff. I feel like I would really like enjoy going to a place like that with people that would like kind of bring my energy up a little bit, like my girlfriends, like
So do you go, how does your boyfriend feel about you going out with friends, like going out to drink, and like do you go to bars and clubs without your boyfriend?
Well, see, I don't really, it's funny because I'm like the last person to talk about this because I really don't do much. I really strive on like working. I'm a very work natured person. So I'm like always here at the store. Or I'm, or I'm on set and I'm like working, going to auditions and meeting people,
which is good
for my career.
Which is good.
So I don't really have time for myself in a fun sense. And when I have fun, I love, excuse me, I love treating myself with like shopping and retail because that's where I find my joy. So, but like when I do go out, like, I mean, the very few times that I've like hung out with like my girlfriends and stuff and we would go out to dinner. I mean, there's already been like pre-made plans of me going to the club with like my girlies, you know?
So that's the thing for you.
So it could be a thing, but like I have not done it yet, but like, you know, cause I've never really had like a group of like girlfriends that I would consider my best friend. Because I like kind of just like grew up with my sister and, you know, it was just like me and her against the world essentially. And, you know, I never really found myself kind of like, in a group of like girlfriends that would like consider me as their best friend, but like I would consider them, you know, my best friend and stuff like that, but it was never like reciprocated. But, you know, as of late, I've been getting notably closer to some girls and, you know, those are plans that are being made and stuff. And so, but my boyfriend's always been very supportive of what I do. And, you know, when I go to the parties in LA, he doesn't typically go just because it's like me and my sister with our LA friends or like, you know, people from the city. And, you know, it's just a different scene. Like, you know, like just the first few times that I went, you know, it's already a new environment for me. And I feel like, you know, he's really supportive of me going out and doing my own thing because he wants that reciprocated. You know, I try and be like really open and liberal about in that sense of, you know, letting him go out and like hang out with his friends too, because he usually does that. But I kind of tend to be like the like, oh, you're going without me. I'm a FOMO girl.
Yeah. No, well, for me, like, I don't know. I don't think I'd really feel comfortable. Like, I mean, of course, my girlfriend's welcome to do whatever she wants, but like, it just feels weird that like.
It's good to see it from your perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, because I respect that he's like totally comfortable with himself and like being like, yo, go party in LA. But like for me, it'd be like, it's kind of weird. Like, I just feel because at clubs, like, again, what are guys there for?
It's not that you don't trust your girlfriends, you don't trust other people.
Yeah. And it's just a weird environment, even for my girlfriend, I guess, to just be like, yeah, I want to go partying with my girlfriends. Because like, I think we just get along so well. That it's like, no, like for me, I don't want to go out because I don't go to clubs and bars with like my guy friends because what are they there for?
Yeah.
To get girls. And then also it's like, I won't have fun unless I'm there with her or like, you know what I'm saying?
So yeah. So like FOMO, fear of missing out, basically. Like you feel like you can contribute to being with her rather.
Yeah.
In a sense, like you have a fear of missing out because you have a fear of your girlfriend basically having more fun without you.
No,
because I was gonna say like that's usually how I feel when like my friends hang out.
Well, I just think it would be weird.
But
well, I don't know how to explain it. I mean, so my girlfriend goes out with friends to a club. Like, so she likes to dance.
Yeah.
But why would you go? I mean, you need a dance partner. I'm your dance partner.
I see what you mean.
It's like if you want to go out and like you're in a great relationship, not that it has to be bad, but like to me, it's like I want to be there with her.
Yeah.
If I'm out and like.
No, I understand.
I don't know how to
I feel like
that.
I would have mixed reactions. I mean, I feel like you don't really know how you would feel until it happens to you.
Yeah.
Like maybe.
And luckily, my girlfriend's the same way. She's like, I don't want to go out unless you're with me, because it doesn't. Because like to her, she's like, it doesn't make sense for me to go out without you, because.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's weird, but I don't know.
No, I understand.
I think that's just how we are.
If my boyfriend went out with like a group of his friends to like the club, then I would be kind of like, why the club? I mean, I get bars and stuff because like, you know, some dudes just like go out and they have a drink and they watch the game. Like I know him and his buddies, like, you know. When he used to work in downtown Fullerton, there was a bar literally right next to his clothing store that he used to work at, and he would like meet up with his buddies like after work, and they would have drinks and they would eat like tacos and burgers, and they would watch the game. And
that makes sense, yeah.
And yeah, in all fairness, like that makes sense. But for me, like,
if he's going to like a club or something with all his guy friends.
But here's the thing, I know that he won't.
But like,
I'm like, let me just like knock on wood
check
real
right
quick.
now. Hold on. What are you doing right now?
Yeah. Wait, my phone's charging. No, but I mean, no, like I already said, he is the type of guy to kind of just like chill at home. And I mean, in this sense, like kind of like in relation to what you say, like he's more like a homebody. So what he does, that kind of makes me feel like I'm missing out. It's like, this is such a nerd thing for me to say, but like when he's on Discord playing like League of Legends or video games, and he's like on the chat with like our friends, and like I'm not invited to play the tourney that night, I'm like, why are you playing without me? Like you would rather play video games with your friends than your girlfriend. Like, you know, it's in that sense. But like I've gotten a lot better to kind of just be like, okay, I'm gonna let him do his thing because he's very supportive in letting me do mine. And I think like that's why he's like so supportive. Like at first, you know, when I was doing LA parties, he was like, oh, like, you know, yeah, like all your friends are so cool, like you're way too cool for me. And I'm like, shut up. I'm like, no, you know, you're cool in your own way. Like obviously, like I'm like, you know, I'm dating you, so like, but in that sense, like I've grown to become a little bit, not even a little bit, I've grown to become, you know, more supportive of just letting him do his own thing and letting him go out. And, you know, when he does go out, because he wants me to do my own thing. He wants me to be more independent in that sense because he knows I'm a little bit more shut in when it comes to that. He's like, I want you to go make friends. I want you to like have those connections, just because we used to just all be about each other. And so like, you know, as we get older, we realize like human connection is so important, and like being able to hang out with other people besides your partner is really essential in your life, because like, you know, what happens if, you know, something happens and, you know, you and your partner need some time away from each other. Who else do you have? I mean, and that's just me like thinking like in the worst way possible, but I mean, in the best way possible, human connection is just so important. It's so important to have friends and surround yourself with people that you can trust, and like, you know, go to, you know, bars and clubbing and like have some fun, or, you know, even like not even clubbing, like just go to the bar, like play some billiards or something. Like, you know, I feel like that's like such a dude thing to do too.
No, yeah, for me, bars are like, I don't know, because again, like when I drink, I want to drink.
Okay,
you know?
So you can't just like have a beer and like chill?
No, because I'm like, I'm like trying to work out. Like this, literally just the next day I'll feel weird. Like I'd rather just spend or have one specific day out of the week where I just like go all out and just have a good time. But like if I'm like, fun for me is like, I'm just working all the time, so I'm just like, okay, let me go home and watch a show or a movie. But it's like literally like wake up on my phone, checking things, emails, posting, you know. So you can't just like chill like with a beer like in one hand and the phone in the other and be like, no, I could, but again, like I don't want to drink unless like I go all out. No, that makes sense. And maybe that's just like because of your fitness journey. Or something. Trying to get shredded, bro. Yeah, for the acting and modeling. For that, and I'm going to Cabo in March, so I'm gonna. Wait, in March? That's so soon. You have to get that summer body before the summer. Yeah, I'm cutting right now. Restricting calories. Okay, that's a point I want to make. Every body is a summer body. Facts, but some are more than others. Well, and that's your personal opinion, because like, you know, you want to strive to become, you know, a version of yourself. But, you know, when people say like, oh, you need to get that body summer up, it's like, okay, well, like, what's a summer body? Or what's a bikini body? You know what I mean? Well, not like, to take, I think you're taking the woke approach, and which is totally okay. But I think to be realistic, we know what is a summer body. Define it. Right. I think like we know what a summer body is. Well, because that's so ingrained in our brains of like, you know, summer bodies like tone abs, like, you know, and why is that? Booty, like tan skin, stuff like that. No, so I totally understand what you mean. That's just not me trying to be woke. I just think honestly, like, you know, that's just a whole nother thing I can go into as a model and an actress with like really bad like body dysmorphia, and just like being told several things about my body, you know, makes me feel. I feel like I've talked to you about this. I'm like off the pod. Off the pod. Yeah. But I just feel like, you know, as like someone that kind of struggles with that and like having comments being told, like, I think we should encourage natural bodies without having to feel like one body is like essentially better than the other. I think it's just different, you know. But that's your opinion. Does that make sense? Like, if you want to shred,
do it for yourself. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
yeah.
I have a feeling that you are going to do it
is
for yourself.
100% for
Good.
myself, but
You're like,
No, yeah.
it's for the chicks, aka my girlfriend.
gonna break up with her there. Huh?
No.
That's a joke.
Like, if you're watching this, I got your back, girl.
No, I mean, yes, obviously, like, not to disregard the whole thing of like, yeah, everyone should be comfortable with themselves and be happy, and there's nothing wrong with any type of body, right? But what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, there are not an ideal, like, there's a reason why it's called a summer body.
No, I understand. I mean, and I understand what you mean exactly, because in the modeling industry, there's the model body.
Yeah.
And in that case, it's like you have to fit a certain criteria of like your, you know, waist and hips looking a certain way, and your shoulders have to be like, you know, triangular or whatever, and your legs kind of have to like, you know, protrude out a certain way, and you have to have like a certain thigh gap, and if you don't have a thigh gap, then you're, you know, your hips have to look a certain way. Basically, that's what I mean. So I understand that there's like there's an ideal,
but that's not
like,
even ideal
image.
though, because that's modeling. Like, I feel that's where you would come in and say, no, like, this isn't normal, or this is like too extreme, right?
Yeah.
And like, yeah, like, because that's a whole industry where they're making money off other people's bodies and looks, and that's where you can say, yeah, like, it's not really right. But
Yeah.
I think, like, just talking from regular individuals who, you know, where the U.S. is mainly overweight, where, like, yeah, it's okay to get in shape and to kind of strive for being healthy, and that doesn't mean having a six-pack, but that does mean like not being overweight, if that makes sense, you know?
No, I totally get it. And I think like, but you know, all bodies are built different. Some people, you know, kind of like they are brought up in a sense where they struggle with altering their body shape if they wanted to. So I think that's where true. So that's where I come from. Like, there's some people that try and lose weight and they can't, so they have to find a happy medium. And so what I mean, like, you know, we shouldn't be promoting unhealthy, and this is me talking about like all body types. Like, you know, you can have the most hourglass perfect shape, but you know, you can also like not be having a really like a good diet, so you can be hurting yourself on the inside. So what I mean by all this, I mean, you know, we shouldn't be striving to basically like market or what's it called? We shouldn't be like striving to oh my god, what's the word? Like, kind of like make like unrealistic body types. The expectations. The expectations. And so what I mean when you say like so when you said like summer body, it's like, in a way, like, I understand what you mean, and for in my sense, what I'm trying to get at is like, you know, that's like, you know, someone happy and comfortable in their skin and in a bikini, like, if they want to consider that as like their summer body, because they strive to work at that sense to be confident in their image, to like wear a bikini or trunks and stuff like in public, that's their summer body, you know. There should not be like an expectation, be like, oh, this is what it should look like, even though you're saying like, oh yeah, modeling is different. I think essentially where I come to like, you know, agree in a sense where like, yeah, you know, I think, you know, in that sense, like, summer body should be, you know, you said like, oh, you know, you should be like working out or like dieting or whatever, but you know, I think it just all comes down to like your mental state and like how confident you are, because you can also have like I said, the most perfect body and still struggle with like your body image. Like, there's EDs exist, body dysmorphia exists, you know, 100%. Bulimia exists, like all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, and I 100% see your point of like, yeah, there are things that people can't really change, and disorders as well, and to be very aware of that and to be like accepting of yourself and all that. So a balance of both and understanding. So
no, I'm so excited for your Cabo trip. You said Cabo, right?
Yeah, Cabo.
Dang,
first time going.
Really?
Never been.
Are you going by plane, or are you Yeah, I was like, because it's pretty far, dude.
Yeah, it's
I'm
at
like,
the
you're like, no,
end.
I'm driving.
Yeah, no, I think that would be like a 3-day drive or something.
Yeah, I've been to Cabo before.
Oh, nice. How was it?
Oh, it's great. It was beautiful. I mean, I went to an all, kind of like a
Inclusive resort.
all-inclusive resort, and this was like when my moms got married.
Mm-hmm.
We went, and it was kind of like their honeymoon. But my sister and I were able to go with like some of our titas, and
Yeah. Oh, Mikela's Filipino and white.
yeah, Filipina and
Filipina.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and I mean, white is like the generic way to say it, but
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, Filipino American, but yeah, I am essentially Filipino white because I have Italian, Sicilian.
Italiano.
Yeah,
She
Italiano.
eats lumpias with spaghetti.
Honestly, I mean, there is Filipino spaghetti too.
Oh yeah, I know.
Spaghetti.
My girlfriend. Her name is Kathia.
Kathia?
Kathia. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty.
She goes to what is that one? The Jollibee.
Jollibee.
Jollibee. That place that's pretty good. She loves it though.
Yeah, the
That's funny.
happy spaghetti.
Yeah.
Oh, and it has like tomato sauce, like
Uh-huh.
yeah, like sweet tomato sauce or like ketchup sauce. Basically,
Yeah,
that's what
that's
it is
like
with the hot dogs.
Yeah, that's like the Philippines, like McDonald's out there, right? Like, there's just so popular. Like a super popular fast food chain. I just hit the mic up.
Yeah, yeah, it's really popular and
Yeah.
it's so good. I remember when I took my boyfriend there for the first time. Oh my god, he was living for the crunchy chicken. The chicken is
okay.
like some of the best with the gravy.
I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of Jollibee.
Oh,
Yeah, I was like,
Well, because
it's okay.
is it because you grew up like with like Bolivian food, or did you just grow up like eating, not hot dog spaghetti?
No. I mean, I like their menu's cool. Like
Mm-hmm.
I like I like fried chicken. I like spaghetti. I
Okay.
don't know. The taste is
You're
like,
just
not
like
that great to me.
You're not
I'm a fast food connoisseur.
okay.
No, I'm
So
joking.
what would you consider like better than Jollibee or like fast food wise?
Chick-fil-A's bomb.
It is.
In-N-Out's bomb. Wingstop.
It's like it's so good you can barely taste the homophobia. Did you not get it?
Well, it's Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A's homophobic, dude.
Are they?
Yeah. They're
Oh.
Christian owned.
Well, that doesn't mean that
hella-
they're all homophobic.
No, they are. They're hella
Chick-fil-A.
they're hella anti-LGBTQ plus
Oh.
QIA plus.
I mean, okay. Well, that sucks.
No, I was trying to make a funny joke and it like went so because I was
didn't
like,
know
it's
that.
so
That's terrible.
nummies. Like you
This
can,
is not brought to you by Beep.
yeah.
We won't say them anymore. Beep.
Yeah, no, it's terrible, but like
That
know,
sucks.
that's why they're not open on Sundays.
Because like, well, I mean,
because they're Christian.
that doesn't mean that they're all like Christians are homophobic.
No, I'm not saying that, but
Yeah.
the corporation of Chick-fil-A is.
Like the history.
Yeah,
shows
they don't.
that-
They donate to anti
Oh wow.
groups. Yeah, and like
That
they
sucks.
don't. Yeah, they donate to like stuff that funds anti stuff like that.
So I am
Yeah.
not religious at all. I kind of grew up in like a Christian or Catholic at first, and then went to a Christian household. Didn't really stick on me.
Okay.
What are you about?
I came of Christian faith as well. I grew up predominantly Christian, like evangelical Christian.
Okay.
My mom is like Christian Catholic, went to the Catholic church and stuff like that. I mean, predominantly Filipinos are Catholic.
yeah.
And they share kind of that that faith. But my dad is Christian, and so I grew up going to church a lot. I kind of fell out of it when I was like when my parents divorced in like 2011, and I started going back when I was 16, and that was like kind of like my prime time of my spirituality. So I was like 16 to 18, and I kind of faced some like shitty occurrences within the church to make me like kind of like pull away from my relationship with God. I mean, I still like do consider myself Christian. I do still kind of like walk the line of like my spirituality, but like not more in a like biblical like Bible sense, like Bible like what we call Bible thumpers. Like Bible thumpers is like they kind of like shove biblical scripture down your throat and like you have to live by this and stuff like that, which if you do that, that's admirable, that's fine, but not all people want to live like that. Especially not all Christians want to live exactly by the book, you know what I mean? I mean, for me, like my main principle is like Christianity, and like basically my faith is like should not be a religion. For me, I see my faith as like a relationship with God. So like I thank him every night, or especially when I'm in distress, I pray to him. That's just like how I am. And, you know, sometimes like, and I mean, I haven't touched my Bible in like God knows how many years. But I used to study it. So I do kind of like know, you know, the lore of Christianity. And I know the story of like, you know, a lot of the Old and New Testaments and stuff like that. But I say like how I walk my faith now is just kind of treating people with love and kindness as to what Jesus did. Like he didn't like come down and was like, I am the Son of God, bow down to me. He walked around and he got, you know, he like washed the feet of you know, the dirty, and he healed the blind, and, you know, he helped, you know, people, you know, do all that kind of stuff. And just through showing, you know, kindness and love and just being a good person. So I think my philosophy is just go through life living, you know, a kind and loving life. Love your neighbor, don't judge, and you're living exactly how Jesus lived. That's just my philosophy, though. You know, everybody emulates their, you know, their relationship with, you know, their own religion differently. That's just how I walk it. And, you know, I don't think people should judge, especially Christians. I think some people that I've met that are Christian, they tend to be some of the most judging people for people who should not be judging.
Yeah, and it sucks too, because I feel like in religions, it's not, or maybe I can just speak for Christianity. It's not,
because you grew up like within like that scene, basically.
So I can speak for that, and it's not like this is what I believe, and then that's it. It's not just that. This is what I believe, and this is why you should believe it too, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what sucks is that, and I had this conversation with my sister last week, I think, or it was on Friday, I think, which I will get on the pod because we have some really good, deep conversations.
You and your sister?
Really good conversation.
I love Evie.
We think
Hi, Evie.
we think really alike, like
philosophically.
Yeah, I'd say so. But we just see the world a lot of the same way, very realistically, and we think alike. And
that's cool.
We were just talking, and because she's Christian, and she's.
Well, I've had my fair share of conversations with her.
Yeah, so she's into it, and luckily she's not the type that's pushing it down people's throats.
That's admirable. You don't meet a lot of people like that nowadays.
Yeah, and still though, to her, it's like everyone would be better if they understood. I don't want to put words in her mouth, so I'll let her describe it. But for most Christians, I feel like they see the world as you're missing out because you don't know about God, or you don't believe in him.
Yep.
And I think that's kind of not to start a religion.
No, I mean you have like your own, you know, you should have your own opinion, because like for, you know, me to talk about my faith, like you should be able to, you know, we should be open. This is a safe space, everybody. We should be talking. Like,
I'll say my I hate no. No, I just think it's honestly very arrogant to kind of push that idea, because, and I told my sister this, and she paused and had to take a moment and be like, oh wow, that's interesting, that like life is very subjective, and what fulfills me doesn't mean that it has to fulfill you. And I think with religions, it's like, I'm very fulfilled, this is the truth, and you are not fulfilled until you realize that. But how would you know that, you know? Yeah. And I gave an example of like, if there's a guy living in a cabin, doesn't believe in God, but he is happy as hell, he's 100% fulfilled, living his dream, and he's way happier than you, does that mean he's not fulfilled? Like, is he not that, like, the happiest, or is he not fulfilled because he doesn't have God? Is that what, like, you're saying?
No, I totally understand what you mean. And I mean, I can talk about this like all night too, just because, like, you know, as a Christian who is also very spiritual, like, I'm open to a whole bunch of like other realms of spirituality. Like, I just really got, this is like so contradicting to Christianity, but I got into tarot. Okay. And, you know, I do believe that, for me, in a sense, as a Christian, I do believe that, like, in my sense, God talks to me through the stars and through tangible things like angel numbers and like the plants and trees and stuff like that.
Such a good story for you after this.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, you know, for like a traditional Christian, like a non-domination. Is that how I said? Yeah, non-dominational Christian. They're like, yeah, denominational Christian. They're like, you know, those are like witchy, and those are not of godly things. Like, those are humane things that, you know, you should not associate God with. But honestly, how I look at it, I'm like, dude, God made the universe. He made the stars. If he, you know, didn't want to talk to us, or if he wanted to talk to us, it's going to be evident that he's going to talk to me through the things that he's made. So that's like my belief. You know what I mean? And so, like, that's why I have angel numbers tattooed on my arm.
Yeah.
I have 999, which kind of, a general sense, there's so many meanings to different angel numbers, and like 999 has so many meanings. But the main reason why I got it is because, like, my friend passed away recently in October to a drunk driver, and those were her angel numbers. And I think she had that tattooed on her arm, and she promoted self-love. Like, you can't love other people and you can't love onto others until you fully love yourself. And in a sense of like being spiritual, like, I totally agree. Like, you know, self-love is so important, and looking out for yourself in that kind of like sense. So that's just kind of like a little bit of a spiel of like why I find so many things, you know, of like a spiritual sense besides like, you know, Christianity. I appreciate all forms of the spirit, like angel numbers for sure. Cause I see angel numbers all the time. How are you telling me that's not signs from the universe?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, you know, God or no God, you know, the universe puts back in our, puts things back into our lives what we put out. So when we put out good energy, the universe is going to give us something back. And, you know, if you're not spiritual at all, though,
no, not really,
that's okay. And honestly, you know, that's just like my sense. And a lot of people that I talk to that, you know, they're not Christian, but they're like hella spiritual in that sense of like, you know, crystals and stuff like that, kind of see, you know, the earth as like, you know, Mother Earth, and like mother, like, you know, like God of Earth or whatever. So that kind of sense, like, that's where I got super fascinated. And I think like constricting yourself to like one thing, like, no, this is end game, like God is end game, I think is very arrogant, because like, you know, we are called on to like be open and not judge, and you know, and there's so many people that have so many different beliefs. So that's why like I'm so open to just like all forms of spirituality, because, you know, even like someone who's not spiritual at all, I always like getting, you know, hearing their perspective and thinking like, okay, you know, what do you think and life is?
And that's what's amazing, is that it's okay to think different things, you know. No one,
absolutely,
at the end of the day, no one knows anything really. Like, only you know what you know to be true, and being respectful to what other people believe and being okay with it, because at the end of the day, it doesn't hurt anybody unless they're, you know, pushing down their agendas or like physically doing things, and that's not cool. Like, do you know, and no one has to believe what you want to believe.
Exactly. And I think like that's why I think like humans are so fascinating, just because like, you know, I think the world would be so boring if we were programmed to believe the same thing, where the same things speak the same way. And that's why I love language as well. Like, people are like, I wish like, you know, I can speak every language in the world, but that would like ruin the excitement. I think like that's why I find like clothes and music and shows, and honestly just like humans, are so fascinating, just because there's so many different ways to express ourselves, and spirituality is one of them. If we all were, you know, God believing people, then, you know, that's one less interesting philosophical thing to talk about. And I mean, you know, I think what humans strive off of is indifferences. You know, like we should be different from people, because that allows us to connect with people in ways like we wouldn't imagine. You know, that's just me being super like deep, by the way.
No. Yeah. No, I agree. I never even thought about that in the sense of languages, because it would take away the excitement. Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, yeah, because like when you think of like hearing someone speak Korean, for example.
Yeah, it's so like, foreign. It's so alien.
Well, for us, me, at least. But like when they hear us speak English, it's like so fascinating to them, because like, you know, it's just like, ooh, what are they talking about? Or like, oh, I want to study it. But like if we just woke up tomorrow and we like knew every single language, then that kind of like ruins like the rawness of culture.
Yeah.
You know, I think language, like, you know, we thrive off culture and difference. I think that's what makes like the world so vast and beautiful, is like you go to a different country and people are speaking a different language. Like when I went to Europe and I went to France and Switzerland, they speak French and German, and then in Italy they're speaking like several different dialects of Italian. It was just so fascinating. I was just like, oh my God, this is like, it just really puts you in a retrospective of like, oh my God, this world is so big, and I was just living in my tiny bubble of Temecula, California, like a few days ago, and now I'm like in Italy. You know what I mean? That's
another thing, is that we're just we get so sucked into our little bubbles that like across the world someone, you know, is just doing something completely different.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, that's how I've always seen it. Like I to get like to my beliefs, like I just think nothing matters.
Okay.
Like, whatever you do, it does not matter. Like, not even...
Like, you have one life, basically. Just, like, live it.
One life, live it. And like, a lot of people talk about legacy and stuff. And, yeah, you can leave a legacy and affect the world or whatever. But even then, like, let's say you... And I'm not condoning bad behaviors, but let's say you changed the world, right? You're Elon Musk, boom. Or you're Steve Jobs, or you're
Elon Musk.
And you do something really cool, amazing, completely changes the world. Or like ChatGPT, that cool AI thing.
Oh my God, that is scary.
It's insane. So imagine leaving that. Or, on the other hand, the bad thing that I was talking about, like you're a killer. You're a serial killer.
Oh, shoot.
And again, I'm not condoning bad behavior, but at the end of the day, like, you die. Like, it will, in my opinion, you die and it's blank. Like, it's just like when before you were born. Like, do you remember that? No. And that, not to be cliche, because you hear this all the time now. But, yeah, like, it's just that. Like, and it doesn't matter, like, what your legacy is, because you will be gone. Like,
you don't believe in reincarnation?
No, I don't. I just don't know. Like, I literally, like, I'm open to anything. If I die and there's a guy with a beard, he's like, what's up? I'm like, okay, God, cool. You know? But
okay, God.
Yeah, if it's a spaghetti monster.
It's Morgan Freeman.
I know. I would be like, okay. If it's like Rick and Morty, you know.
You get that reference? Morgan Freeman?
Yeah, from...
Like Evan Almighty?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. I was like, please get one reference I make.
Yeah, I
like that's like a timeless thing you have to know.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Morgan Freeman, and I'm God.
I'm God. I can't do this.
I'm God.
I'm God.
Hi, I'm Morgan Freeman, and I'm God.
That's good. You should.
Thank you. As a 23-year-old Filipino girly, that's a pretty good, damn good impression of Morgan Freeman. But anyways, that's just me being a little more lighthearted after like deep spiel.
Yeah. Nothing matters.
Nothing matters.
It doesn't.
Everything matters because nothing matters.
No, nothing matters because nothing matters.
Nothing matters because everything matters, or everything matters because nothing matters.
Well, I mean, and then at that point, it's like, why am I doing anything? You know? Like,
so why did you start your business?
Well...
Or why did you pursue NT the way you are now?
So for me, like, the whole reason why I want to build and make money is just so my family doesn't have to worry about anything. That's like the main thing.
Well, see, that's admirable. That's your reason of living.
Yes, and exactly. That's the point, is that there's like, and it goes back to that subjective thing. Like, there's no meaning in life in my eyes. So you make meaning of life, or like, yeah, you just make meaning of life. Like, whatever you want it to be. If it's about money, if it's about girls, if it's about Lambos, if it's about traveling, there's no wrong answer. If it's about being like the president, that's your meaning, you know?
Yeah, and at least there's meaning to your meaning. You know what I mean? Like, you are living your life so that you can give your family a better one. And that's admirable. And if that's how you live your life, no one should, call upon and judge that and say, hey, what you're doing is wrong because X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. And that's where I get into that thing of like, how dare you? How arrogant of you.
There goes the fart again.
Sorry. That one's stinky.
The way you said that was just so sus. Like, I'm like, wait, did you actually fart? Let me sniff real quick. I'm just kidding. Took a little woof. I'm like, why does it smell like funky? This is your meaning for the pod. And to talk about silly, stupid stuff.
Dry farts.
Yeah, dry farts. That's the meaning of the life. No, but no, I didn't. This conversation's not stupid. I didn't mean that. But
no.
I was just saying like stupid as in like us being like, stinky fart. Like, yeah, no, I'm like, sometimes I can get really immature.
Okay, I'm the same way.
I mean, I'm like, no shit. You're laughing. Yeah, honestly, I like the way that you think in that spiritual sense, because I don't think I've talked to you about
No, we haven't.
spirituality. I have talked to Evie about it. We've gotten into it a little bit. And I'm like, maybe I think she was pretty happy that I was Christian.
Yeah, probably. She's like, another one, yes.
She's like, I don't have to call her in. Sorry, Evie, I love you.
I'll cross her off the list.
No, she's gonna watch this.
No, she'll laugh. She'll laugh.
But yeah, when we got into it, and I just kind of told her like why, why I think the way I think, and why I kind of fell off in that sense of like, because there's different levels to Christianity, and where I stand is like, I'm still very much spiritual based. Like, I love God. I'm like, man upstairs, like he's my homie. He's there for me when times are tough. And, but for me, like God is not like, I love God, and I, as a Christian, that's kind of like how I grew up. Like, it's kind of just embedded in me. But for me, like, God is also not endgame. I'm also to the point where like I am open to hearing other people's standpoints of like life in all philosophical like points basically. And I'm like, I want to know why people think the way they think. And like you said, one day if we wake up, or one day I'm like dead and I see God in a form of like a man with a white beard, or like as like a gold gate, or like those biblically accurate angels that you've seen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or God is just like a big white orb or something. Or I wake up as like a cat. I'm like reincarnated as a cat. Or I just kind of end like, oh, I'm like nothing. Then, we'll never know until we know.
Yeah.
So
but
that's
then,
where
and then
I'm
it
like,
gets down to the question, if that is the way you think, do you actually believe in God?
No, of course I do. Yeah. And I think, but like, I do believe in God. And I think like my relationship with God, we'll never know, because like, a lot of people say like, oh, I know God is real. I feel him. I've seen him. I've heard him. I've sensed him. And, for me, like, there's been times where I'm like, this is evident that like there is a higher being. And so for me, like, God is like, because I've, been so greatly blessed in my life, and, because I grew up in the sense of being Christian, I'm like, yeah, this is evident. This is God's work, because I'm putting in the work. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, I know God gives us free will, or like, in life you have free will. And in my sense as a Christian, I say God gives us free will. So that's a good point that you bring up. Like, oh, if you are so open to other spiritual, things, like, do you really believe in God? Christianity honestly is formed on belief. We don't really know anything until we are dead, until we know. So for me, like, of course I believe in God, because that's me putting faith in that. But like, I'm also like I believe in other things, because I think like the realistic definition of God is basically just the thing above all things. So like, if God's here, basically like a big orb, and everything under him is like, or her or it or whatever basically is under God, then that's what I believe in. So yeah, I think like I just believe in I don't know. I forgot what I was going with this, but my whole point is like, I'm open to so many other things. I'm open to kind of getting a sense of like why people believe in other things, but it doesn't really like change my belief in like being like, oh, well then God's not real. I mean, I'm human. I question, but don't we all question? You know what I mean? And we question like, okay, well, like, is this really like, like, why do I think this way? And, we ponder on those thoughts a lot, but at the end of the day, spirituality is formed on belief and faith. You know, there's no science behind spirituality. No science. You know what I mean? And if it's science, then it's like not spiritual, because spiritual is like an inner thing that you feel. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm saying that the right way, but you know, spiritual and scientific like based things are like completely different. So that's what I'm trying to like go on at a point. But that's a good point, that because I've never actually been asked that before, or maybe I have, but like in a different kind of like way. But if you asked me that like 6 years ago or 7 years ago, when I'm like, you know, reading my Bible and like doing, you know, worship for the church and stuff, I probably would have had a completely, not even probably, I 100% would have had a completely different answer to that. I'd have been like, you know, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
But because like I feel like I'm emotionally and, you know, like not obviously not only physically, but like because I've emotionally matured as a person, I've gotten to like go out and meet tons of people and talk to more people instead of constricting myself in a like church environment. I've opened up and like talked to people about a whole bunch of other things to make me like open to other things, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
yeah, don't be married to your thoughts, you know, or ideas.
Oh, absolutely. I think like, you know, the moment you do that, you stay ignorant, and, you know, I think like there's no fun in being constricted in like, and this is on all senses of everything, like skills, hobbies, careers, like there's no fun in being constricted to like one thing. I mean, if that's your thing, that's fine. But, you know, we shouldn't be forcing everybody to like believe on like one set thing or do one set thing or whatever. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm all about like, you know, when you say, oh, I'm not spiritual, I'm always like very, like, I'm always very intrigued on like what you have to say or like what other people have to say. Because I've met people that are straight up like, oh, I hate God because like, you know, this happened. Or I'm like, there's people, I hear people. They're probably going to walk through and they're going to be like, what is going on?
Sad girl, just at the window.
Hi, Christian. I'm back.
I miss you.
I Heeled over just for you. Oh, that's another thing. She was wearing Heelys. No, she was so cool.
She was cool.
She was like, she told me, she's like, if you want me to teach you to Heely, I can.
I saw that. Yeah.
I was like,
I'd be down to Heely. I used to do it when I was younger. That was good. You know?
Me too. Until I broke my arm.
Oh, yeah, you fractured.
Yeah. Well, fractured, but it was the end of the world for me. I was like, I broke it.
Yeah. You had a whole cast and everything, right?
Yeah, I was like a little bit underneath my elbow. So I wasn't like the bent elbow cast. It was like the one, but like it was hot pink. Everybody signed it. But yeah, oh my God.
They're just chilling.
Were they just walking around?
Yeah. Yeah. I think they work somewhere nearby.
Oh, that's funny.
They're taking the back exit.
Okay.
They know the way. Alrighty.
Dude, are we out of here? How long were we talking for?
I don't know. I have to pee so bad.
Oh my God. No, dude, we talked for so long. Like,
I think it's
how many?
been
2 hours.
8:20. So we started at 6. 2 hours and a half. This has like been the longest one.
We started at like, I would say 6:30.
I could keep going too, but I gotta pee so bad, and I'm sure you gotta go too. You gotta go pack and stuff.
No, this is crazy. I like how we talked about so many things. Are you gonna like keep this just as one?
No, I'm gonna throw it away. I hate you, so I'm just gonna throw it in the trash and it's gonna be all one.
Damn, fuck you too. Wait, I shouldn't say that to my boss.
What'd you say?
He's like, wait, can you say that again? No, wait. You don't have to say that again because I'm already on camera.
It's all recorded, you fuck. Watch it till I come next week.
I come back the next day and there's a
note.
There's there's a termination paper just like waiting for me, like in big red letters.
You fuck, huh?
He's like, dude.
I see.
I'm like, that wasn't me. What do you mean?
No. So,
the person on your podcast, that was Jill. What do you mean?
The whole switcheroo, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
No, we'll definitely do this again. I don't mind going super long. I just have to drive home. But I'm down to do like 2-3 hour podcasts.
Wait, really?
Yeah, hell yeah.
I thought like podcasts usually stay like maybe like no more than like an hour and a half.
No. So I mean, I mainly listen to Joe Rogan like in the past
And how long do
5 years.
podcasts usually go for him?
They go up to 4 hours.
Dang.
Yeah, but
Wow.
I listen to them on 2x. So little fun note if you want to get through podcasts real quickly. Saves you a lot of time. But
Cool. Because
yeah.
I mean, usually the podcasts I listen to are anywhere between 30 to an hour.
Yeah, like
Those
honestly,
are pretty
like
short,
if
though.
it's kind of not really flowing, then it could be like an hour. I feel like, in my opinion, at least for me, like whoever I interview.
Okay.
Not to throw shade at anyone in the future, but
Yeah.
or if they have to go.
Some people just talk more than others. In this case,
Yeah.
we just really enmesh really well.
Yeah.
I mean, we are both tangent people. We go off on tangents.
Yeah, we do.
Tangentable people.
I'm big on tangents. I love tangents.
I mean, and I can definitely tell you're very like, what is it? Deep.
Yeah, so
you deep combo.
Definitely want to have deep convos, and that's when it gets like very long, and that's what I like.
Nice.
So I wanted to go into like tangents. Like the beginning was perfect, and then we kind of just slowly get in these tangents, and then just
we
way we
eased
think.
in.
Yeah, and it just shows that through like podcasts like these is just showing different ideas and kind of creating new ideas for new people or people listening. You know, stuff that they never really thought about.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And just questioning the way we think, which is good. It's good to have open conversation, and I will say what I have to say, and hopefully the guests will say what they have to say, and just openly have a judge-free convo. You know?
You're lucky that your first guest is not only opinionated, but is not a judger. So, and she talks a lot.
Yeah, I actually had 3 other guests. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, dang. I thought it was your first.
No, this is the 4th one.
Dang. Okay, well, you're 4th then. Sorry. I had the wrong impression. I thought it was special.
No, but this is very special.
Are all of them like 2 to 3 hours long too?
It was about an hour.
Okay.
Hour 10-ish. One of them accidentally I deleted, so yeah. That's okay. You could
Who is it? I'm just kidding. Don't say
it. I didn't delete it on purpose. It was like trying to edit it, and it just I
lost the file.
Yeah, something like that.
No, that's fair.
But this is exactly how I wanted to go down.
Cool.
And kind of like go harder on ideas and stances, and not in like a brutal way, but more of like let's really question what we're saying.
Start off fun and fresh, and then go into like,
hell yeah,
is God real?
No, really.
Find out.
And then like. Again, there's no right or wrong answers. Like, I'm completely wrong, because I don't know. I don't know what the truth is.
Also, I've come to really enjoy my voice over camera.
I know, it's nice.
No, it's fun.
With the headset. Do they bug you at all or no?
Even with my hoop earrings, I'm chill, but...
They kind of bug me. I think I'm going to switch mine out to, like, something different, but...
Yeah, I mean, if you switch yours out, do it for me next time, too.
Yeah.
Because I'm coming back, y'all.
Yo, no, for sure, 100%. I think
they're from me.
It's going to be regular. Yo, we'll have you come out, like, all the time, and then...
have me clocked in. Keep me on the Indie Vintage roster.
We won't just have to do it here. We'll do it at the other store, too, so whenever you're out there and stuff.
I'm totally down. I mean, give me, like, a month or 2.
I know. Yeah, you got your whole moves going on, but...
Oh, yeah, that's another thing we can talk about, but I'm going to let you go to the bathroom.
I mean, do you want to keep going? We can keep going, but I know you have your... If you have to do
No,
anything.
I mean, well, I come back in, what time is it?
It's 8:20.
I come back in like 14 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, I work at 10 in the morning.
Oh, okay.
So I'm saying I come back in 14 hours.
Yeah.
I can just sleep in the back, honestly. I'm chilling.
There you go.
No, just kidding.
Nice.
No, but we can, honestly, I'm like low-key starting to get a migraine. Maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
But
we'll head out. We'll end it.
all right.
Awesome.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, killed it, yo.
You killed it too, yo. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you'll be on again.
As your 4th
oh,
person.
She's butthurt.
Low key though. No, I'm just kidding.
All good, all love. Thank you guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.